everyone and welcome to the Carcode YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Sam. I make new car reviews and content every single week, so make sure to hit subscribe down below. Today I'm checking out the Škoda Superb, and we're going to find out, of course, it's superb by name, but is it superb by nature? Firstly, a huge thanks to Vantage Škoda in Morecambe for making this video possible, and to Toby the Sales Manager. All of Vantage Škoda's links are in the description down below, so do make sure to check them out. Let's start with the exterior design of the new Superb, because it looks pretty sleek. Starting off with the front end of the Superb, what do I think? Well, it's got a very nice friendly face. Škoda's traditional octagonal grille, which looks fantastic, with the radars in this glossy section, which are nicely hidden. You do have this little circle here, but it's not a big deal. Front and rear parking sensors are standard across the range, as is a rear camera, which is excellent for a car this long. It looks nice and smart. If you go for the second to top model, which is the Sport line, of course that's got a sportier front end. So it's like an R-line from Volkswagen. I also like that the radiator isn't too visible through the grills. On the Volkswagen, it is more of an open style grille, so you can really see the radiator, which just looks a little bit more cheap. This is much better. It's actually better than some of the Audis as well, where you can see the polystyrene behind the grille. This, you can't really see any of the gubbins. It just looks nice and tidy, which is great. As you can see, you've got the Matrix LED headlights as well. These are standard from mid-spec SEL, which this one is. The Skoda crystal lighting, really great. You can opt for it on SE technology, but it's quite a pricey option, so you're better just going to SEL and getting a few extra features as well. On the SE technology, which is a standard model, you do get LEDs, but they're not as clever as these Matrix LED headlights with the adaptable driving beam, the ones that turn corners, etc. As you can see, they've got that eye-like look, which is really quite nice. They have more of an aggressive, sleek design. To the side of the Superb, you can really see more of the resemblance with its closely related cousin, the Passat, especially kind of this line on the door. So the side is the most Passat-like, I think, with the front and rear ends being quite different between the two vehicles. I would have also thought the Superb would be quite a bit bigger, but that's not the case. They're pretty much identical in size, with the Passat being about a centimetre longer than the Superb, but them having the same width and also the same height. So the Passat has actually grown quite a bit, whereas the Superb's grown just a little bit from the predecessor. They've got their own identity between the two cars. You've of course got sprinklings of Volkswagen in, which you always do with Škoda anyway, with definitely this section here, this line, looking the most Passat-like, with the angle of the windscreen as well. But when you actually look at the rear end and the front end, they are quite different to what you get on the Passat. It's much more Škoda, of course, especially the front end, where you've got that classic Škoda face, which I think really suits an estate car. And to the rear of the Superb, it's got a very simplistic Škoda design. These lights do remind me quite a lot of a Vauxhall Insignia though. A few people noted that it's kind of got Insignia vibes, and of course that car has died, so this may be an option if you're looking for something to replace an Insignia, but has more of that premium feel to it, definitely. I think in this aspect, the Passat definitely wins at the rear, just having that sharper design. I really like the full taillight bar on the Passat. I think it just looks smarter, more modern, and more unique than what this offers. It's not offensive, it's quite smart, it's very Škoda-like, isn't it? It's just not quite as interesting as the Passat's rear end, but I think the front end carries it off better, and I think it is overall a nicer looking car than the Passat, in my opinion anyway. You've got Škoda spelled out across the back as well, which does look nice. On SEL and above, you do get the dynamic sequential indicators at the rear of the vehicle, very Audi-like and looks nice and sophisticated. Let's check out the front indicator. Front indicator, not quite as interesting. It's not got the sequential style on this SEL. It just lights up the whole section, but extremely clear as the direction, which is great to see. Alloy wheels on the Superb range from 17 to 19 inches. Let's start off with the base model, which is the SE technology. As standard, they come in this silver 17-inch Mintaka alloy wheels, which do look a bit small for the car, just as they're all one colour, not the most exciting. The good news is you can upgrade them for £150 to the 17-inch diamond cut Alcaris alloy wheels, and they've got a diamond cut aero design, so thought about aerodynamics. They're also 17 inches, but they do look bigger on the car because of that two-tone look. You do have another option as well on the SE Tech to go to 18-inch alloy wheels with the 18-inch Persona alloy wheels. However, they're £750. Going up to SEL model, as standard, you get these 18-inch Doe feeder alloy wheels, which do suit the car very well. Not too big, not too small, and even though they're all one colour, they look a nice size on the vehicle. Very elegant and suits the car very well. You can upgrade them to 19 inches as well, with the 19-inch Vertitate alloy wheels in silver. I'm not a big fan of them, they're £750, or you can upgrade them to the Aniara alloy wheels, which are also £750. And again, they're quite like the Persona alloy wheels on the SE Tech, that they look kind of a bit plasticky. I think on the SEL, I'd definitely pick these standard 18-inch Dofida alloy wheels. Second to last, going up to the Sportline model, you get the 19-inch Torcular alloy wheels, diamond cut two-tone. They look fantastic. They're probably my favourite wheels on the vehicle. Being 19 inches, the ride will be firmer. However, it does have DCC, which is dynamic chassis control. So the ride comfort shouldn't be too affected compared to an 18-inch alloy. You currently can't opt for any optional wheels on the Sportline, so that makes it very easy. And last but not least, you've got the top of the range L&K model. You've got two different options of wheel on that one. You've got the 18-inch Bellatrix diamond cut alloy wheels, which do look really nice on the vehicle. They're standard. And you can also get the 19-inch Vertitude alloy wheels in silver as well, but I'd stick to the 18s. So there's plenty of different options there available on the Superb for wheels, 8 different choices in total. What about colours offered on the Superb? Well, Skoda offers quite a wide range of colours. As standard across the range, it comes in the solid energy blue, which I'm not a massive fan of. It just looks a bit cheap on the vehicles. It's not metallic and it's just quite flat, so not my favourite. Another solid colour is pure white. That's £680, which is quite expensive, and it's the same price as all the metallic colours as well, including this, the new cobalt blue, which looks fantastic. On pictures it may look similar to energy blue, but it's a lot nicer. It's got that metallic fleck in it, which looks fantastic, and it's very similar to Volkswagen Reef Blue, which I like. My favourite though is the Iced Tea Yellow Metallic, which is really nice. It could do with being a bit stronger, but it's still nice and a unique colour. You also got Carmine Red, Midnight Black, Graphite Grey, and you've also got the Pebble Silver. So all metallics are £680. Apart from if you go for the top of the range L&K model, you can pick any colour of your choice, solid or metallic, free of charge, which is great to see. The colours are all the same as well, regardless of the trim. Quickly show you the engine. It is on hydraulics, which is a really nice feature you don't see on many cars anymore. This is the standard 4-cylinder 1.5 litre eTSI engine. There's two 1.5s, there's two 2-litre petrols, and there's two 2-litre diesels to choose from. So quite simple on the vehicle. The two 1.5s being this mild hybrid and the plug-in hybrid model. The plug-in hybrid's not available on the hatch, but it's available across all trims, with the petrol all-wheel drive being available from Sportline and above. So there's plenty of engines to choose from, this being the standard. Then you've got the plug-in hybrid model, then you've got the 2-litre diesel 150 PS, the 2-litre diesel all-wheel drive 193 PS, and of course the all-wheel drive 2-litre petrol with 265 PS. So let's take the Superb for a drive. You do have the twisty gear selector, which I'm getting used to a little bit more now. It's what you get on the new Tiguan as well. Driving the Superb, it's very smooth as you'd expect. So this has got the standard engine, which is the 1.5 eTSI. You may think that sounds like it's a plug-in hybrid, but it's not. The plug-in hybrid's the IV, the eTSI is the mild hybrid vehicle. So it's Volkswagen Group's latest 1.5. So it's got some good pulling power for sure. So this has got 150 PS, 148 brake horsepower, and 250 Newton meters of torque. That means it can get from 0 to 62 in 9.3 seconds, which doesn't sound that quick on paper, but in practice it's really quite good and very similar to what a Golf would get with the same engine. So even though you've got a bigger, heavier car, the performance isn't affected that much. Every Superb has got this ESG dual clutch automatic transmission fitted as standard, so there's no option for a manual anymore, unfortunately. However, a more executive, larger vehicle like this, there just isn't demand for a manual, so I understand why they've dropped it, and of course a manual is offered on many of the smaller Skoda vehicles. You might think this car's a bit heavy for a 1.5 engine, but it's really not the case. It really deals with it very well. A really good blend of economy and performance as well. If that's not quite enough for you, there is some other options to choose from, you'll be pleased to know. So you've got the plug-in hybrid, which is also a 1.5 with a combined 201 brake horsepower. You've got the 2-litre diesel, and then at the top end you can even have the Volkswagen Golf GTI engine in the Superb should you wish, on the Sportline or in the L&K model. That's got 265 PS and we get from 0 to 62 in 5.7 seconds, so that definitely is hot hatch level there. Of course the GTI is front wheel drive, but on the Skoda all-wheel drive, which is really nice. However, only returns 36 miles per gallon, not the best, whereas this, 50 miles per gallon, which is really good for a car like this. If you want to even further improve your economy, you can of course go for the plug-in hybrid model. It gives you an official EV only range of up to 80 miles, which is incredible. Same as what I tested in the latest A3 plug-in hybrid, has got the same setup. If you want to watch my video on that so you can learn more about that powertrain, you can click up there. The transmission is so silky smooth. It always surprises me again when I get in a 7-speed DSG, how smooth they are and how much better they are than what they used to be. The only problem with the DSG generally used to be at slower speeds, kind of creeping along. It could feel a bit jerky, but I find with the eTSI models, it's a lot smoother thanks to that mild hybrid system helping. And although the basis of the 7-speed DSG has been the same for many years, Volkswagen Group does apply incremental changes just to tweak it slightly. You can't really feel the changes at all unless you really want to push your foot down. Then you'll feel it shift, but that's quite fun. You do of course also have the paddle shifters, and that's standard too, so that's great to see. Now this is the SEL model I'm in today, so like a mid-spec model. It's got 18-inch alloys as standard on it. The ride's really quite nice though. So the car is actually changing down gears for me because it knows we're coming to roundabout, which is good. It will coast at times as well where it can, but not always, so it's quite clever. I love the blind spot inside the mirror as well. I think that's great. Same as on the Golfs. It's much better than being on the very outside of the mirror. These mirrors are actually quite small, which I don't mind. You still get a good view out of them and they don't stick out as far, which is good. You can see just how smooth that gearbox is. It's really lovely. It's just silky smooth, hardly jerky ever. You don't really feel the changes. It changed gear there and it was just so seamless, which is great. Nice and refined, solid and planted as well, which you don't get all the time with an SUV. SUVs can be quite a bit more wallowy, whereas this is more planted, happier on corners, etc. It doesn't corner like a performance vehicle. It will be a sporty ride on the Sportline model with the 19s, but this isn't bad at all. You can also opt for the DCC, it might be worth it, especially if you go for 19-inch wheels. I'd definitely pick DCC. With these 18s, I don't think it really needs it. It's quite a comfortable ride anyway, but if you perhaps wanted to tune the ride to be sportier or more comfortable furthermore, then DCC might be something you'd consider. Engine braking is so nice. It's just doing it for me. Because of the speed limit, it knows it wants to do it. That's really good. You can use the paddles as well to manually change down the gears should you wish, which is quite a handy feature. They stay in manual for quite a while as well, which is good. So if you really do want to make use of the manual, look, it's just staying in M2, then it goes into drive eventually when it really does need to change gear. You can see clearly on a twisty road, it's perfectly capable and better than a lot of SUVs. SUVs are quite nice to have that commanding driving position. A lot of people like it. I like both. I like having that commanding driving position, but I do also like being a bit lower down and more connected with the road. It handles very well, it corners excellently. The steering's quite direct as well, so there's a lot to like in that aspect too. I do like the new Passat as well. I have reviewed it. I didn't spend a lot of time with that car, but if you do want to watch my video on that, you can click up there. This is just as good, if not better. One thing is you do get more standard equipment on the Passat, but it starts at a higher price. However, there is definitely better deals available on the Superb, either new or nearly new, than what there is on the Passat. However, when you come to sell it, the Passat will be worth more than the Skoda. So it kind of swings and roundabouts, but you can actually buy this demo with a few thousand miles on for under 34 grand. So it's 50 now, let's floor it. See, that feels plenty fast enough. Of course, if you've got the car full of people and stuff, then it's going to feel slower, so you might be happier with the more powerful, but that was plenty powerful enough. Only a slight delay when you put your foot down for the gearbox to decide what it wants to do, but really it's very minor and it changes gears quicker than you could in a manual, so that's really nice. I do really like a manual transmission still. I guess it's a shame that you don't get one, but I wouldn't expect it from this class of vehicle. I don't think they sold many manuals in the previous generation. So about to go on the dual carriageway and then we'll get onto the motorway. We'll go up a junction, see how it is, because that's really where this car is going to be used a lot of the time. So the engine sounds a little bit laboured when you're really pushing it, but then it smoothens out so nicely. Even at the faster motorway speeds, the 1.5 is very happy. At 50, you're cruising at 1,500 RPM, just above. Goes into 2-cylinder mode as well, where it can. which is also kind of on the way to it coasting. So if I come off fully, then it coasts. If I'm still accelerating but could do it with 2 cylinders, it will do so. Getting up to motorway speeds, how's that? Okay, acceleration now. That's 60. That's 70. That was really smooth. Yeah, it's not a sports car. If you're coming from something with a bit more performance, perhaps one of the premium rivals, then you probably would want to go for one of the 2-litre models. So I've reset my trip now, and we're on the motorway cruising at 55, so not very fast. So we'll see what miles per gallon we average. It's nice and solid at higher speeds, you'll be pleased to know. So it would really be good for company car drivers. If you're going up and down the motorway all day, every day, I think this is a great option. And once you're at these higher speeds, the car's nice and quiet. You do get more wind noise from the mirrors than you did on the Elrock and the Enyaq, the fully electric Skodas, but the engine, we can't really hear it. It's cruising at 2,000 revs at 70 miles an hour. When I come off, we're going downhill, the car goes into coasting mode, which is really clever. It's not running away with itself. It knows there's a car in front, so it's slowing down for me. So that's really good. And I can use the paddles, should I wish, to manually change through the gears. When I'm happy, I can just hold down the plus and it goes back into D. Rolls much less than an SUV would. If you want an SUV that doesn't roll, you end up having quite a stiff ride, so you have a bit of a trade-off, whereas this is comfortable and doesn't have that roll, so it's a really great balance. The brakes are nice and progressive, connected to the car, and then the gears just change themselves down to match the speed that you're going. So this is quite a good opportunity, coming from a standstill, see how it shifts. There you go. Those first few gears are the ones that you notice most. Then once you get past that certain point, you don't even feel the gears shifting, which is excellent. If you progressively increase your speed as well, that'll help furthermore, of course, with your economy and also with those seamless shifts. 40 to national speed limit, go. So you can see when it knows you want the acceleration, it hangs onto the revs longer and keeps you in a lower gear, which makes sense. It knows what you want, which is quite nice. It's quite intuitive. It doesn't just change up the gears really fast for economy. It does if you're slowly progressing up your speed. Quite intelligent as well. It'll know that the roundabout's coming off, foot off accelerator and things like that, where a lot of cars don't think ahead that far, see things, and then they change the computer to tell you what they've just seen, whereas this feels a bit more proactive in that it knows what's coming up before you sometimes, which can be quite handy, especially if you're on unfamiliar roads. I know these roads very well, so it's fine, but if you're coming to a road you didn't quite know there was a roundabout coming up and stuff like that, these little features can be really handy. And also the fact that it knows that there's a car in front is really quite good as well. It's not majorly intrusive either. I keep a good distance from the cars in front, but if you do happen to miss something, it'll let you know, and it'll also let you know if you're driving too close to a car in front. The lane assist can be a little strong at times, but it is quite easy just to deactivate like so, with just touch of that button and then that button. It cruises at excellent miles per gallon, which is great. And it just goes to show you don't need a diesel to get excellent miles per gallon. Look at that. I know it's only 6 miles and it's mostly on a motorway, etc., but it does show that it is possible. Smooth driving. The coasting and 2-cylinder modes are two things that really set it apart from predecessors of the vehicle, especially the 1.5 versus the previous 1.4, and even around town, these sorts of speeds, as you can see, these bumps are a little firm on the 18s, to be better on 17s. On 19s they'd be worse, so I'd probably just stick to the smaller wheels, to be fair, save some money. And if you get a sport line, you get DCC as standard, so that sorts that out. See, now it's just coasting. I've got my foot on the accelerator. It's not even using the engine at that point, and it's just a very comfortable car to drive actually as well. If you do go for an all-wheel drive Superb, how does that system work? Well, most of the time it's front-wheel drive bias, then the more acceleration you apply, it will add some more power to the rear axle, or if it senses slippage, etc., if you're in icy conditions or the wet, it can also activate that rear axle. It's just going to feel a bit more stable in those sorts of conditions than the front-wheel drive models will. When you put it in park, which is on the end of the stalk, it would be really nice for the handbrake to come on. However, it doesn't, and the handbrake's in a different place, which is a bit weird. I really like on the Aerox and the Enyaq where they've still got the shifter down here. I prefer that to the twisty section, which most of the Volkswagen Group is kind of moving towards now. However, it's not a big deal, and you do have the electronic handbrake there, which is fine. Or if you switch the car off by the ignition, the handbrake comes on by itself. Inside the Superb, what's it like? Well, it definitely feels more upmarket than before. It's nice and comfortable, premium, especially on this SEL model, which is like your mid-spec model. As standard on the SE technology, you get the cloth, which do look okay, but not the most premium on the vehicle. On the SE technology, you can upgrade to a more premium lounge interior. However, it's over £3,000. It's a lot of money. It is lovely though. It's Alcantara and it's got mustard stitching. It's grey and black. It reminds me so much of the seats that you got in the Volkswagen Beetle June quite a few years back now, and I think it's really cool. That also gives you electronic adjustment, which is standard on the SEL model. So they will be the ultimate comfort, but they do come at quite a cost. Going up to SEL, you get artificial leather and a leather combination, which are nice. You can have this in black or in the cognac, which is that brown leather, which is a free of charge option. Going up to Sportline, of course, you get the Sportline seats for that sportier look, more of a sporty bolstering as well. And then at the top of the range L&K model, you have leather as standard, either in the black or the cognac again. I would have liked the nice suede lounge interior though to be available across the range, but unfortunately, you've got to get the base model and pay £3,000 for it. As you can see, this SEL model does include the ergo seats, which have a massage function, and are also the electronically adjustable seats, which is really nice. They've also got this underleg support as well, which you can slide out, a bit more support there. You can also tilt the seats upwards to give you more under thigh support, which is really nice, or downwards if you've got longer legs, so there's plenty of adjustment in those. I'm not a massive fan of the actual massage function on the seats, but what I do really like is the 4-way adjustable lumbar support and the 3 save settings as well that you can set your seats to. These leather seats are relatively soft as well. They're not the hardest I've sat in. They're softer than the Audi seats, I find, so that's quite nice too. Quite supportive. On the SE technology, you just have manual high adjustment and manual seats, which is fine. If you go for the L&K model, that does also add the heated rear seats, or you can get that in the extended winter pack. That extended winter pack adds the heated steering wheel and also the heated windscreen, which this model doesn't have ticked. You've got physical dials, which is excellent to see. You've also got the standard 13-inch display across the range as well, and the 10.2-inch digital dials, which are fantastic. You can also opt for a heads-up display, but you're not really needing one with this digital display down here. You've got the steering wheel, which does feel nice, slightly different on a Sportline sporty model. As I say, you've got the paddles to shift as standard as well. Your adaptive cruise control is on a stalk like on an Audi, which I don't find as easy as the buttons on the steering wheel on the Passat. I prefer those. You've got nice materials on the dash, and this gloss black, but it does look quite nice. Nice textured materials. Also, the A-pillars are in fabric. Just nice little touches like that make it feel nice and premium. You've got a bit of gloss black down here, but not too bad. You've got these sections to cover over the cup holders. Yeah, it's pretty good. The quality feels up there with the Volkswagen Passat. This one being the SEL does have electric tailgate standard, so you've got the electric tailgate button just down here as well. These are the custom climate control buttons. One thing, they are quite wobbly, but I don't want to complain about the controls because at least you've got them, which you can't say the same about the Passat. They've got the slider things, which you do get used to. There's like a shortcut button, but this is just easier, isn't it? So you've got your fan speed, easy accessible. Also, you press it again and it becomes your other sections. So you've got your different fan speeds on there, volume. You can set these to 4 different things that you want on there. Same with the seats, you've got heated seats, or press again and your cooling seats come up. So this SEL's got the heated and cooling seats, which is really nice to see. Like the ID7, you can have the heated and cooling seats on at the same time. Basically, that means that they're ventilating and they're heating, so that'll dry you off if you've got a bit wet in the rain, whatever. That's actually such a nice feature. So if you're wondering why you can have heated and cooled seats on at the same time, that's why. Down here, you've got 2 cup holders and your wireless phone charger as well. 2 USB-Cs as well, which is nice. You've got these other physical buttons here, shortcuts, and your fans, which you can turn on or off with those. Lock in. Of course, you've also got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, which is such a nice feature. All the materials and the doors feel really good as well. Only down low that it feels a little bit cheaper, but not bad at all. You do also have carpeting in the door pockets, which is great to see. I do wish the screen was facing towards the driver rather than away. However, that was the exact same on the previous Superb as well. So kind of expected, but it would have been nice for them just to tweak that, just to make it more user-friendly like what you get in the Passat. However, unlike the Passat, this has got physical dials, which is really nice. That work first time as well. The power tailgate, which is standard on the SEL and above. As you can see, you've got a massive boot back here. So it might not show up on camera, but in here you get 690 litres, which is pretty much best in class. It's the exact same as the Passat. If you do go for the plug-in hybrid estate, it does drop down to 510 litres, which is a bit of a shame. It's 20 litres less than a 5 Series plug-in hybrid, but it is more than what you get in a Mercedes E-Class plug-in hybrid. So not too bad, but this is huge. On the hatchback version, it's 645 litres, so again, absolutely massive. As you can see, you've got a little bit of a lip. Unfortunately, an adjustable boot floor isn't standard. It's £300 and it's not standard on any trim, so you do have to opt for that, unfortunately. And it's not even available as an option on the hatch. This is where the Passat makes some sense in other areas where it's got more standard equipment like that variable boot floor, which for a Simply Clever brand, you'd think it would have, but no, it has a bit of a lip. You've got a little bit of a lip down, not too big as you can see, but it's absolutely massive, the boot, which is fantastic. You've also got the retractable load cover, which does retract electronically with the electric boot. Underneath the boot floor, you've got further more storage, and you can opt for a spare wheel as well, should you wish, which is great. Especially if you're going for an all-wheel drive option, you perhaps live off the beaten track, your roadside might take a bit longer, then it's really nice to have a spare wheel, but you do get the tyre inflation kit as standard, and this does of course free up more space. If you go for the Canton sound system, which is standard on the L&K model, that of course includes a subwoofer in the boot. You've got even more space back in this cubby here as well. As you can see, you've also got your levers for the rear seats and also a 12-volt socket just back there. So incredibly practical. Also, as you get in the Audis, warning triangle built in, which is really handy too. And how is the rear space on the Superb? Well, I'm about 5'8". This is my driving position. The rear space is superb. I've got like this much knee room. I've got about the same headroom, which is really great. So you don't need an SUV for practicality, that's for sure. Central armrest back here with the cup holders, and then this little holder for your phone, tablet, whatever, so you keep the kids entertained. You've also got your ski hatch for through loading, so you can have things go through the back, long items, etc., which is great. Back here, you've also got 2 USB-C points and also your rear climate, which is fantastic. Premium materials continue throughout the rear as well, so they've not forgotten about the rear passengers. You still also get the felt-lined door pockets back here too. You've got your own little light each as well. Pocket there for your phone and a bigger pocket. You can't adjust the recline or like slide the seats forward and backwards, which is where an SUV is more practical, but honestly, it gives you plenty of boot space, so you wouldn't really need more boot space, and leg room. I'm not wanting more leg room, so thumbs up Skoda for that. It's fantastic. What's the middle seat like? Well, there is quite a big tunnel on the floor, which is quite a big one, but it's quite narrow, which is good. Let's sit in the middle seat. Base is very squidgy. The back too actually isn't too firm. It's a little bit firm having the armrest, but that's one of the better ones I've sat in recently, so thumbs up Skoda. It's also not too wide, so it could be a bit of a squeeze for 3 adults, but that's the benefit of, on the UK roads, not having a wide car's a nice thing to have. It's not the narrowest, but it's not the widest, so it's actually quite manageable. I think you'll find this not much more difficult than a family hatch to drive around, which is great. You've also got your ISOFIX points, which are connected. They feel a bit cheap, but you don't lose them. They don't like come loose, and also they're not the biggest openings. On the Volkswagen ones, they are a bit bigger and they're just quite ugly, whereas these look a little bit more elegant. So yeah, really, really good. You do also have a height adjustable passenger seat, and you've got ISOFIX on the front passenger seat as well, which is fantastic. Another nice feature for practicality is your electronic child locks for the rear, so that's really easy just to activate those with these buttons on the side, like so, and they illuminate amber when they're on. Also, this parcel shelf does rattle a little bit with this section. That could be a bit better, but you could shove something under there to shut it up. I think your passengers will be very happy. Also, if they get car sick, this might be better for them than an SUV because you don't have much body roll, so that's going to feel a lot more planted on the ground, and at higher speeds it's good too. So then, what are my final thoughts on the Škoda Superb estate? Well, I think it's an exceptional family vehicle. It's nice and refined, it feels good quality, the tech's excellent, I like having those physical controls, and it's quite user-friendly all in all to live with. Excellent efficiency as well, even if it's not a plug-in hybrid, so that's great to see, and just easy to live with. It's a long vehicle, but it doesn't feel so unruly to drive or live with. It's quite a nice car. Thanks again to Vantage Škoda in Morecambe for making this video possible. Again, all their links are in the description down below, so do make sure to check them out. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one.